What's up, friends? Welcome into another week of Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com with Elijah Schmidt and Tyler Brewer behind the cameras today. And Dan Courtwright, I am Sean Kellerman. Thanks for joining us over on Facebook, YouTube Live as well. Everybody listening, what's up, ESPN Kansas City? We got a lot to get to today, of course. Big news over the weekend for KU baseball as they had 4 guys selected in the MLB Draft. A couple guys not selected as well that we thought might have been chosen. They'll get professional opportunities. And, of course, KU has a lot of talent returning to their roster as well. But get into that here in the opening segment. Next segment, let you know what's going on with our Jayhawks in the NBA Summer League. Melvin Council is in the NBA Summer League, as is Hunter Dickinson. I know people absolutely love talking about him. Trey White, Darren Peterson, DeJuan Harris is on a roster. KJ Adams is on a roster. We'll let you know everything on that front. Who'd I forget?
Zeke Mayo.
Zeke Mayo, of course. He had 11 points over the weekend. Spoiler alert. Get into that next segment. I have a special guest joining the show via Zoom. It's Frank Mason.
Yeah.
A little bit later.
The
Frank
GOAT.
will be participating in the basketball tournament, which starts next week. Of course, new format for TBT. It's a 2 out of 3 KU alums against K-State alums beginning in Manhattan. Game 2 will be at Lee Arena in Top City. And then, if necessary, Game 3 will be back in Manhattan. An 8-team field of alumni teams. The winner of that will advance to take the winner of the non-alumni team. All the non-alumni team will be, all of those games, I should say, will be taking place in Vegas. And again, it'll be the champion of that against the champion of the alumni teams who are doing battle on campus sites. So that's kind of cool. It's definitely different than the larger tournament field that we've had in the past. But we'll take a look at the updated roster for the basketball tournament, and we'll hear from Frank Mason. He was made available to the media at the end of last week. So we will, get you a look at the GOAT, as you said. Looks great. I'll say that. And had a lot of great moments here at KU. That goes without saying, the Naismith Defensive Player of the Year. After that video, we're going to bring on Nick Springer.
Yeah.
Who? Kansas City Sports Network. In fact, if Nick arrives a little bit early, then we'll squeeze him in before the Frank Mason video. But we'll get his thoughts on KU baseball, perhaps the roster outlook moving forward. And again, the 4 guys who got selected. We'll talk KU football as well for Mr. Springer. Shreyas Laddha does not see a lot of wins on the schedule for Kansas football, and he hosts the Kansas City Sports Network podcast alongside Nick Springer, the Pay Heed podcast. So perhaps Nick has a little bit brighter of an outlook. We'll ask him about that. KU football fall camp will begin here in just a matter of weeks. Dan, Case of the Mondays segment, what do we got going on?
Yeah, got a lot of good stuff. Got some NBA stuff in here, as well as some baseball, different things, some home run derby stuff. You have it in here. I mean, it's just the worst week of the year.
It is.
Which is nice because it's my birthday week. It's always like that, isn't it? It's always so much fun. But yeah, mostly just, actually, that's kind of crazy. It's all NBA and baseball stuff. Have one UFC thing. We're going to touch on the world of sports in the UFC as well. You and I are both not the biggest UFC guys in the world.
No, but we can
keep an eye on
spare
it.
about 41 seconds for Conor McGregor.
I got about 41.
Too soon.
Or maybe,
Too soon.
no kidding. But yeah, a lot of fun stuff. We also have a video. Luke Cornett did something amazing that would probably entice me to go play for the San Antonio Spurs. So we're going to play that on the show as well. But yeah, a lot of good stuff here in Case of the Mondays. Are you having a Case of the Mondays? How was your weekend?
I'm good. It was good. Didn't do a lot. I was talking to Elijah Schmidt before the show today, and I was trying to think of what all I did over the weekend. I mean, Caitlin and I on Saturday spent the entirety of Ava's nap time trying to blow up this inflatable pool.
Sure.
And we had to do it manually, and it was just like way more difficult.
With your mouth?
Way more difficult than it should have been. I mean, we had an air pump, we had an electric pump for battery powered for the big part, so that helped, but it wasn't perfect. But then it's got all these little nooks and crannies that need to be blown up manually, so that was something.
You should have called me because I've often been told that I'm filled with hot air.
There you go. That's helpful. It's so funny when Ava runs out of breath, she says she's running out of air. It's great. But she played in the pool, and we pretty much kicked it at home. I mean, it was nice. Got some takeout. Good. It was good. How about yourself?
I didn't do a whole lot. Saturday, I went swimming at a friend's house.
And then?
That was pretty much it. Had a nice pre-birthday lunch with my in-laws, so that was nice. And then
Tell them all I say happy birthday.
Yeah, I will. But then, we just did a ton of housework. I was like trying to fix my mower. We put up wainscoting in our bedroom. I was hanging up pictures. I mean, I was like handyman Dan. It was a handy Danny, if you will.
Handy Danny.
Yeah. So no, it was a nice little chill weekend for me. I'm still on my note. I haven't mentioned this on the show. I'm not drinking until August.
Oh, that's right, because you're.
Yeah, I had like 5 weekends in a row where I just did nothing but like binge drink.
Yeah, because the wedding, the honeymoon,
and I just like needed.
I'm proud of you.
I just needed a little bit of a break. You know what I mean? So, but I did shotgun a beer yesterday for kickball. So
does that count as not drinking?
I get a couple of freebies. We talked about it. I get a couple of freebies.
I see. Who was shotgunning a beer at kickball?
Oh, we did it afterwards. We beat this team like 15-1 or 15-0, and then
you can never be.
But they were really nice.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, they were really nice. By the way, Piper won the MVP of the game yesterday.
Look at that.
She had a couple of really nice catches.
Shout out
to Piper. But
yeah, she's.
You gotta play. We gotta get you on a kickball league, man. Speaking of, I mean, by the way, follow up. Can't believe I didn't mention this. I haven't mentioned it yet. We're like 6 minutes into the show. I haven't mentioned this. So as you know, I talked about this on Friday. Bryson Stricker, a lot of you may know him. Or have heard of him at least, was suing the kickball league that I'm in. He was allowed to play because the KVKL, the Kaw Valley Kickball League, decided, hey, we don't want to go through this lawsuit, so screw it. We'll just let Bryson Stricker play. The Johnny's Tavern kickball team walked out in protest.
Oh, my God.
So they didn't get a play.
Are you kidding me?
No. I'm not kidding you. Isn't that amazing?
The drama for adult kickball, man, I love it.
It's crazy, dude. This whole thing is just amazing.
You're not in the same league as his team.
I am.
Okay, so
we haven't played him yet.
Will you play them eventually?
I don't know if we have 2 games left, and I think we play his team in one of those 2.
Interesting. Do you guys have any grand plans for walking out, or you'll probably play?
I will probably play. I like playing, but yeah, it was kind of crazy though. Yeah, the Johnny's Tavern. Ask maybe some of your some of your buds over there.
Yeah,
I think it's Johnny's North. The OG Johnnies.
Interesting. Okay.
They have a kickball team together, but yeah, they walked out in protest for the KVKL letting Bryson
after all.
So he didn't get to play after all.
Wow, what an interesting story that is.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. There's drama. There's drama going on in adult kickball.
Yikes! Wow, that's I can't believe I live right now.
That should have been the first thing I told you when I came into
classic off-season stuff right here.
I know it really is.
We're not exactly breaking down a loss to Arizona State and Tempe, where Kansas went down to Tempe and lost. Did not enjoy that at the beginning of March last year. Some good moments last year. We beat number 1 in the country, undefeated Arizona. I mean, we beat undefeated Iowa State. They were number 2 in the country.
BYU.
I saw a photo, just a still shot of the guys on the bench before the St. John's game, just about to be introduced, the 5 starting lineup. And I was like, man, that team was actually kind of nice. Like
St. John's?
No, us.
Oh, us. Yeah,
I was like, we should have been better. I mean, you had Darren Peterson and Melvin Council and Trey White, and you just didn't have everybody's best version of themselves. The bigs obviously were soft as Charmin, so that was a problem as well. All right, Crown Automotive.
I didn't think you were going to say Charmin.
And his team will get you in the vehicle that you need. A great selection of Toyotas, Volkswagens, and if you're shopping new or used, they've got you taken care of. A used lot that's fantastic as well. Miles Snare, he heads the group of fantastic service and salespeople over there at Crown Automotive. So swing on by on South Iowa in Lawrence. Tell them the guy at Kansas Nation sent you, or visit them online at crownautomotive.com. Our founding partners here at Kansas Nation. Daniel, the big news for KU over the weekend.
Yeah.
4 guys selected in the MLB Draft. Day 1, it was Tyson LeBlanc and Dom Vagley selected early. LeBlanc, the highest drafted position player in school history, as he was chosen 61st overall. Vagley was selected in the 3rd round. LeBlanc to the Tigers, Vagley to the Orioles. In addition to being the highest drafted position player, LeBlanc is the 2nd highest draft pick in KU history, trailing only left-handed pitcher Curtis Shaw, who was selected 42 overall in 1990. How about that? Only LeBlanc and Shaw have been chosen in the 2nd round in KU history. And then Vagley picked 86th overall. LeBlanc was 61st overall, by the way. 86th overall for Vagley. He is the highest drafted right-handed pitcher to ever come out of Kansas. 4 seasons under head coach Dan Fitzgerald, KU has produced 21 professional baseball players, 11 to the MLB Draft, 6 in 2024, 3 in 2025, and then 2 so far in 2026. We would then find out, of course, 2 more got selected. So that number is now 23. But LeBlanc and Vegley, before we get into the day 2 guys, they get selected. They were the odds-on favorites, you would say, to be the highest 2 drafted Jayhawks, but awesome for them. Great dudes. LeBlanc we just had for 1 year here on the call. Dom Vegley we had for 3. Unquestionably, MLB quality talent for those 2. They showcased it their time at KU, and now they get a chance beginning in the minor leagues to showcase that at the next level.
And certainly deserving, right? I mean, you look at what Tyson LeBlanc was able to do over this past year at Kansas, where he came into Kansas kind of as a speed guy, right? Kind of a guy who, he gets on base, able to steal a lot of stuff, really nice defensive player at the shortstop position. And then out of nowhere, just completely shatters the home run record for Kansas in a single season. So impressive all year long. He continued to deliver time and time again, and certainly well-deserved. Second round, like you said, highest drafted position player in Kansas baseball history, second highest player ever drafted for Kansas. So that's really exciting for Tyson LeBlanc. Again, I mean, that's a guy with true MLB talent right there. If he's able to keep that bat hot, I mean, he's got a bright future ahead of him. And then Dom Vegley, I mean, we've been talking about this since his freshman year. That kid is going to be a pro baseball player. And that is no question about it. Like his freshman year, he had all these All-American honors, played for Team USA in the summer, heading into his sophomore year, a little bit of a slump. And then this past year just totally picked it up. And the stuff is there. He's so nasty. The velocity's there. I mean, the movement on the ball is there. Dom Vegley, I think, is going to have a very bright future in the MLB as well, and a perfect place for him over in Baltimore. 3rd round, 82nd overall pick, Dominic Vegley. So, I mean, that just goes to tell you that this Kansas team, like, it wasn't a fluke. You know what I mean? They just kept winning games, and it got to a certain point where, you and I both were kind of looking at it like, man, how can they keep this up? Like, they won, all of a sudden it was like 10 in a row, 11 in a row, 12 in a row. And we're just like, okay, like, sure. Like, they're winning all these games, but, like, when's the second shoe going to drop? And it never did, because this team, I think a lot of people, like probably us included, especially in the beginning part of the season, because if you remember, they did not start off the season very hot, right? I think all of us were like, okay, I mean, this team has a lot of really good talent, and then they just continued to produce and continued to get better and continued to win games, and then they were a national stalwart, national powerhouse. Able to host that Super Regional is so much fun.
Yeah, falling in the Super Regional to the eventual national champion, Oklahoma, in what was kind of a fluky weekend here in Lawrence because of the weather. LeBlanc was a first-team All-American, broke the single-season home run record, like you said, kind of out of nowhere after coming over from the JUCO ranks. He had 25 homers here at KU, the 6th first-team All-American in Kansas history in the first in 20 years. Started every game at shortstop. He hit .341 with 69 batted in addition to those 25 homers. Coach Fitz saying, quote, Tyson is a special player, but an even better human being. Detroit got a guy who's going to be a leader in their organization for a long time. Tyson is the most complete competitor I've ever coached and left an incredible imprint on KU baseball. All Big 12 first-team selection as well, Tyson LeBlanc. And then there's Dom Vegley, who this past season was an All Big 12 second-team recipient. You remember he was the Big 12 Freshman of the Year when he first got here to Lawrence. Coach Fitz saying, quote, Dom carried us on the mound for 3 years. He never missed a start and never missed an opportunity to make the people around him better. Dom is incredibly gifted and is just getting started. I can't wait to watch his career. He's an all-time great Jayhawk, end quote. Very exciting for those two guys. And then great on day 2, Kansas getting a couple more selected. Brady Ballinger was selected in the 7th round, 216th overall by Detroit. So he'll be teammates, I'm sure, sometime along the line with Tyson LeBlanc. And then Matisse Nayrall selected in the 13th round, 402nd overall by the Toronto Blue Jays. Ballinger at 216 overall, the 9th highest drafted position player in program history. And with those 2 selected, 4 selected for KU, and 3 of them were selected in the first 10 rounds. First time in school history that 3 Jayhawks have been selected in the top 10 rounds of a draft. I'll give some more particulars on those 2 guys, but Dan, maybe it wasn't the perfect final year here in Lawrence for Brady Ballinger, but we saw throughout his career how great of a baseball player he is, and then we saw definitely some flashes from Matisse Nayrall his 1 year here as well, that he has potential to have next level stuff. So 4 Jayhawks selected in the MLB draft.
Yeah, and I think Brady Ballinger, I think that you can see, all of the fundamentals of, a good baseball player is there. I mean, fundamentals might not be the right word because his swing is a little, it just is interesting the way that he does the back and then, the actual swing mechanics. But, I mean, Brady Ballinger was so much fun to watch. Obviously a crowd favorite. Everybody loved him. Everybody kind of clinged on to him. And he had that personality, the one that you just kind of gravitate towards for a true leader of that team, a true face of this Kansas baseball team. And yeah, like you said, it wasn't a perfect outing for him, but if you look at what he did last year, then you look at some of the other things that he was able to do this year, aside from the fact that he was in a slump, he was really good when they moved him out to the outfield, and that's just a team player right there. He was playing first base. How many people want to be moved from first base to left field? Not a lot, probably. But he was able to do it, took it in stride, and was really good out in left field. And then you look at the batting, right? The batting wasn't necessarily all there this year, but he was able to pick it up. Was relatively good. Started 58 games back in 2025. This past year, he batted .353, had 56 walks, had a slugging percentage of .670 over back in 2025. Really impressive stuff for him over this past year, and then. If you look at this year, 71 runs scored is second most in a season in school history from 2025. 56 walks tied for second in program history. 16 home runs, again, this is from 2025. Fifth most in a season. So obviously you can see that he has what it takes to make it to that next level, and certainly the Detroit Tigers found that as well. Picked him up in the 7th round. Really impressive stuff for Brady Ballinger. And then Matisse Nayrall, this is a guy that didn't get a lot of talk. We didn't talk a lot about him throughout this past year, but you could tell whenever he was able to come in was really impressive for this Kansas team. And yeah, like you said, he had the stuff, right? He had 11 strikeouts in 7 innings of a one-run ball. Only 3 hits and 1 walk in the entire day against Cincinnati. This is back in the Cincinnati series where that was probably his best outing, best series by far and away. Retired the final 14 batters that he faced from the second out in the 3rd inning all the way through the 7th inning. Really, really incredible. Also started the Big 12 Tournament Championship versus West Virginia. 4.1 scoreless innings helped KU claim the tournament championship. Guy from France, they don't play a lot of baseball out there. We talked to him about that, about how, there's just not a lot of baseball being played out in France, but he was able to come over to the States, go to this tiny little JUCO in Arizona, and Dan Fitzgerald found this diamond in the rough, brought him in, and he was such a serviceable pitcher. And, yeah, I think this is a fantastic for Matisse Nayrall. But you had 4 guys go. We're obviously excited about that, right? But there's a lot of guys who were draft eligible from this past year who are going to be coming back to Kansas.
So I'll let you expand on that here shortly. One final thing, though, on Nayrall and Ballinger. Nayrall, Coach Fitz saying Toronto did a really nice job scouting him, and I think that's well said because it wasn't perfect. Nayrall had some rough outings, as pretty much every college pitcher does. But you mentioned the start against Cincinnati where he struck out 11, was completely dominant, and then 4 1/3 scoreless in the Big 12 championship against a good West Virginia team. That's good. He can throw high 90s. He's got some good breakers as well. And then Ballinger, we'll track his career from the professional ranks as it goes on. But one final word, I guess, from Brady Ballinger in his college career. I said this often, but I likened his offensive game to Freddie Freeman because what he does is he swings at strikes and he takes balls.
Yeah.
And he has the ability as well, just like Freeman, a fellow left-handed batter, to use the entire field. Freddie Freeman isn't the most powerful power hitter there is in MLB, but he's still going to run into some because he hits the ball hard. That's what Brady Ballinger does. And again, uses the whole field. I wish we could have seen a better overall final season for Brady Ballinger, as I'm sure he does, but he dealt with some injuries, had a little bit of adversity from some more up and downs than he had his sophomore year. But he's a fantastic hitter. And no matter if he ends up playing in the outfield or at first base, this is a guy who I think is going to be playing Major League Baseball. He would have been drafted in the second, third round probably if he had a similar year to what he had his sophomore campaign. But I just absolutely love his game. It's what a baseball player is supposed to be, somebody who makes good decisions at the plate, controls the strike zone, and again, he's able to hit the ball where it's pitched. How often do we talk about that with guys trying to pull everything? Brady Ballinger doesn't do that. He uses the whole field. I know I've said that a million times now, but that's what he does.
Yeah.
And that's what good hitters do. I'm excited to see his professional career because I think he will be a Major League Baseball player. Hopefully all four of these guys are. But yeah, as you said, Dan, a lot of other draft-eligible Jayhawks who did not get selected, they're going to have some decisions to make now moving forward. But KU, they're also going to have a really good roster heading into next season.
Yeah, for sure. Just a quick thing on a transfer who's supposed to be coming into Kansas. So Jake Birkland actually entered the transfer portal and committed to Kansas this past offseason, coming over from Minnesota State, the Fighting Adam Thielens, if you will. Commits to Kansas. He actually got picked up in the 19th round by the Chicago White Sox. So we'll see if he decides to come back or not. I know that sometimes that does tend to happen where guys go, actually, I just want to, I want to go back to college and obviously, higher level for Jake Birkland. So that'll be interesting to see. But again, you look at the draft eligible guys that Kansas had who did not get picked up: Bodie Ray, Cade Baldridge, Augusto Munguerieta, and Dylan Schlotterbeck. All four of those guys did not enter the transfer portal, and all four of those guys have another year of eligibility. So that'll be interesting. I know Bodie Ray put out already on Twitter, on Instagram, I think, where he said, time to run it back. We're going to be really excited about this. Let's go. So Bodie Ray is going to be coming back to Kansas, presumably. You also have, like I said, Cade Baldridge, who switch hitter, excellent second baseman. I mean, you're retaining a guy in the infield, and right there, I mean, those are three essentially infielders that you have with Augusto Munguerieta behind the plate, right? So you don't have to replace your catcher. That's massive. And Augusto Munguerieta had a fantastic season this past year. Really nice hitter as well. Cade Baldridge, again, at second base. I mean, that guy, talk about a gold glove potential, right? I mean, he's so good on the defensive side of the ball, so good at hitting the ball, like I said, the switch hitter. And then Dylan Schlotterbeck playing third base. He was awesome at third base as well, able to fire it over to first without a problem. And again, a really nice at-bat too. So those three guys in the infield coming back, especially with Bodie Ray, who's just going to get better. I mean, this Kansas squad is going to have some memorable faces from this past year, which you didn't really get to say that this past year, right? Because you had so many different guys leave. The only two guys you really had coming back who played a lot were Brady Ballinger and Dario Losoria. You had Max Solis Jr. too, who got in a little bit, right? But really, those are the two guys. Now you look at these four guys with Ray, Baldridge, Munguerieta, and Schlotterbeck. You also have Ritter coming back and Dykhoff coming back. I mean, you have virtually your entire infield and a couple of really nice relievers coming back for this Kansas team. They're ready to run it back.
Bodie Ray is going to have the opportunity, I would imagine, to start games for Kansas next season if that's where Coach Fitz goes. Now, I think we all like the prospects of Ryan Ritter being the Friday night guy, and Bodie Ray, he was so good as a closer that you kind of mentally automatically slide him in, and you like that. Whether he's starting or closing games, you love the fact that he went on to Twitter and said, what do you say we run it back? Because that's really exciting. And again, you probably have more eyeballs on you if you prove yourself as a starting pitcher. That being said, we'll see how it works best for Kansas and works best for Bodie Ray. But that is very exciting. And like you said, some of the offensive guys we still don't know about, but some very excited that they're going to be coming back to KU. So shout out to the four guys who got selected, and we'll see kind of where their professional career takes them. And in terms of KU and the 2027 roster, we'll keep you up to date on everything that we hear on that front. After this, though, we're talking a little NBA Summer League as we'll catch you up to date on everything that happened over the weekend in Sin City. That's next on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com.
Hey, Kansas fans, Coach Bill Self here, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
Celebrate the summer with savings at Crown Toyota. BZ models, 0% APR with a $500 cash incentive. RAV4 models, 4.99% APR. 2026 Toyota Tacoma, 3.99% APR. Get into a 2026 Tundra for 2.99% APR.
At the heart of a city lies the restless, the visionaries, the bold. From redefining events to guiding local youth, providing lifelines of industry, or reshaping wellness across the region, you deserve a financial partner that matches your ambition. At Meritrust, we handle the finances so you can take care of the bold. Meritrust Credit Union. Business, banking, bold.
Jayhawk fans, if you haven't started to follow Kansas Nation on social, now is the time. Facebook, Instagram, X, it's Kansas Nation, and online at kansasnation.com for the latest news and information on your Kansas Jayhawks. Interviews, news conferences, daily and weekly shows, podcasts. Find it all at Kansas Nation and kansasnation.com. kansasnation.com is presented by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game with Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
Pool, spa, and patio sale at Family Leisure. Pool starting at $19.99. Buy now, swim this summer. Spa starting at $34.99. Swim spa starting at $16,999. 0% interest until 2030 on select items. Adirondack chairs only $199. 5-piece dining set only $8.99. Wicker dining sectional now only $19.99. Make memories this summer. Pool, spa, and patio sale going on now at Family Leisure.
Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment in Lawrence. Check them out online, HeinenOPE.com. If you're in the market for a new mower, new side-by-side, perhaps you're preparing for the winter early, as I should probably be doing, then check them out. All the options, all the great sales they've got over at Heinen Outdoor Power Equipment. Again, HeinenOPE.com. All right, we're going to be talking a little TBT a little bit later, but first, let's get into the NBA Summer League action from over the weekend. Couple guys in action, couple guys not in action. They got some DNPs. I didn't see DeJuan Harris record any minutes for Minnesota. I didn't see KJ Adams record any minutes for Golden State. But obviously, some guys still trying to make their mark. 29 minutes for Trey White for the Miami Heat in their matchup against the Orlando Magic. White had 13 points. He was 3 of 9 from the field, 3 of 6 from 3, 5 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals, and a block, Dan. Before we get into everybody, and I'll roll off these line scores, that's great for Trey White. You're shooting 50% from 3. He needs to kind of hang out there on the perimeter, right, because that's where his bread's going to be buttered. Hits both his free throws again. You like him filling up the stat sheet a little bit, and he did that often at Kansas. I mean, how many times he have double-digit rebounds? You're like, oh, my God, this guy's not even that big. But 5 boards, 4 assists, 4 steals, and a block. That's what you want to see, and he's making his mark.
Yeah, 100%. And, when you look at Trey White, I mean, we just continue to talk about how good of a fit that this is, especially with the Miami Heat, where they desperately need guards, and he's really showing up and proving to everybody that he's going to be able to do it, right? He's in the starting lineup now for the Miami Heat, 29 minutes, 13 points, 3 for 6 from the three-point line, and again, I mean, that's 50% from the 3. If he's able to reproduce what he was able to do at Kansas over this past year, because if you look at sample sizes, right, Kansas was essentially the outlier because he was shooting under 33% usually for the majority of his career. Then he comes to Kansas and shoots 40%, over 40% from the three-point line. Now, you can look at that and say, okay, well, he got better at shooting threes, right? And that's what you need if you're a 6'7" wing trying to make it in the NBA. That's exactly what you need, and he's certainly proving it right now. I still can't get over the fact that he's wearing 78. I hate it.
God, that's such a bad number.
Bad. No, like, I mean, they had to have better ones. They have, like, dude, check this out.
Whose aunt did he kiss in the Heat organization that he made him so upset?
Check this out. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different guys who are all in the 70s. The Miami Heat do. Arnas Sakinas is 76. Ian Shiflin is 75. Kendall Brown is 70. Keyshawn Hall's 74.
Wouldn't you kind of do that, though, if you were in the front office of NBA? I don't know, just like, hey, these guys want to prove it? Okay, here's 78.
Yeah, I get that's like a very. Remember when Bill Belichick made?
It's just so disrespectful.
Didn't Bill Belichick make Mac Jones wear 50?
Is that right?
Yeah, he would always make. He would never give any of the rookies the number that they wanted in OTAs because he wanted them to earn their number. So like Mac Jones was wearing 50, and like, you know, there's always these weird. I think like I'm trying to think like Julian Edelman wore like 63 or something. Like it was just weird, you know. So I kind of like it. I mean, that's fine, but
it is funny that it matters as much as it does to us because it does.
Know. Well, that's the thing is like if you, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's just a weird like mental thing for me, but like if you. Like, I like wearing my number.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Again,
when I was in Emporia State, I was wearing 45. I
didn't
like it. Like, I like the number 2. I wore 2 all through high school. I wore 15 in basketball all through high school, and I wore
22 in basketball. That's a pretty hard number.
Good number.
Yeah. A couple games for the New Orleans Pelicans over the weekend. Hunter Dickinson, 21 points on 9 of 18 shooting. He went 3 of 6 from 3, 3 boards, 3 assists for HD. He was +5, but you know who led that Pelicans team in plus-minus? Melvin Council Jr. Melvin ends up with 6 points on 3 of 4 shooting in that first game for the Pelicans over the weekend. 1 rebound, a couple assists, and a steal. He had 1 turnover again, +16, leading the way for the Pelicans. And then the Pelicans' next game, Hunter Dickinson had just 7 points, 8 rebounds. He was 3 of 9 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3, a couple assists, and a steal and a turnover. Melvin Council played 25 minutes, which is good to see. And again, he was +11. That's 2 straight games. Both games, Dan, for the Pelicans over the weekend. Melvin Council led the team in plus-minus at +11. And we saw that a lot when he was on the court here at Kansas. He had 9 points on 3 of 8 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3. Had a rebound, 4 assists, 2 steals, a block, had 3 turnovers, and again, led the way. So maybe Melvin Council is, you know, making his mark a little bit.
Yeah.
The NBA Summer League. And then the Atlanta Hawks, we know it's all about Zeke Mayo, and he is scoring a lot of points per minute. He's not playing a ton, but in 14 minutes, he scored 11 points, 3 of 5 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, couple rebounds, 3 steals as well. That's the second time we've read a Mayo line, and we've been surprised at his defensive prowess.
So crazy.
Usually he's strict. Let's hit some threes.
Yeah.
And that's what he does best. But both Council and Mayo, I mean, they're playing legitimately well.
He's a 3 trading kind of guy. Like that's the kind of like almost like a Diggy Coit where like defensively he's not good. But I mean, putting up 3 steals, like that's the way you get eyeballs on you. That's the way to get noticed if you want to make it to the NBA. And, you know, being able to get 3 steals in only 14 minutes, 11 points, 3 for 5 from the field. I mean, that's really impressive stuff from Zeke Mayo. So you really like to see that out of that out of that guy where, you know, you can see the shooting is still there, but defensively he's continuing to get better. And that's really good for Zeke Mayo to try to make this roster.
Other guy that we'll let you know about is the guy who was selected highest, Darren Peterson.
Who?
Second straight game that he didn't shoot particularly efficiently from the field, but last night the Jazz, they fell to the Clippers. Peterson had 23 points. He was 6 of 18 from the field, 1 of 3 from 3, 6 of 8 from the line. A couple rebounds, 5 assists. I like seeing the 2 steals. I like seeing the 2 blocks. A couple turnovers, only 4 fouls. So personal growth
good
for Darren Peterson. But yeah, I mean, you can tell, and we talked about this a little bit, there's just not a lot of familiarity with these guys' roster. I mean, do you think legitimately on a roster of 25 guys that you're going to be playing ball with for 11 days, do you even know the names of all the guys on your team?
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably not all of them.
Yeah, I mean, do you think like Darren Peterson and Muhammad Wagyu are like hanging out?
Or Justin Harmon?
Yeah.
I mean,
Max Asmus, by the way.
Yeah,
shout out.
Shout out.
Oral Roberts, legend.
He got a DNP. Yeah, Oral Roberts in Texas.
By the way, did you see Darren's dunk over Baba Miller?
I did see that.
I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
That's just good. That's good, clean fun.
That's good,
you know
clean
what I mean?
fun for us.
Love to see that.
It is. But, yeah, we'll continue to let you know.
But that's actually a good point, though.
On.
Because, like, Max Asmus, honestly, like, Max Asmus has been in the Summer League and been in the G League for a long time. Probably, 3 or 4 years, maybe? Maybe not that long.
Usually it's just first or second year guys, but I could be wrong. It
Max
seems like he was
Asmus-
at Texas a while ago.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
He's
Max
25.
Asmus, when did he leave Texas? I know he was at Oral Roberts at least in, 2020.
2024. So he's played with the Salt Lake Stars for a couple seasons.
I mean, you think Max
Asmus,
Asmus,
he's a year 3 guy.
I mean, especially when he's a year 3 guy playing in the Summer League, do you think Max Asmus knows everybody who's on that Summer League team? Probably not. I mean, it's just that's the way that you see so many rotating faces. I mean, that's the nature of the beast, I guess, whenever you're talking NBA or even NFL. I mean, NFL is probably worse. You know what I mean? Like, just in terms of, like, OTAs and, you know, rookie mini camps, all that different kind of stuff. Like, there's no way you know half of those
but
guys.
Especially with Summer League. I mean, I'm just
Yeah.
10, 11 days.
But it is impressive. Like, that's what makes, and this is a couple of games ago, but the 12 assist game that Darren had, that makes it more impressive because he's finding guys who he doesn't have chemistry with, which I think is such a, that was maybe the biggest hole that you saw in his game was facilitation. And that's what you need as a point guard. And now he's getting better at that, especially when you have no chemistry with these guys. Like, you give him a full season where he's playing with the same starting five for 82 games, that number is going to continue to go up, and he's going to become more of a facilitator.
I like what I'm seeing out of Peterson and Council in terms of filling up that line score. That's what they need to do. And then I like what I'm seeing from Zeke and Trey White. I mean, they're doing what they're supposed to. They're taking advantage of the minutes they're getting, and they're hitting threes. And Trey White, I think, has been maybe as impressive as anybody in terms of Jayhawks in the NBA Summer League. A little bit later today, Zeke and the Hawks against Boston. That's going to be at 5 o'clock. Trey White and the Heat against Cleveland at 7 o'clock. Peterson and the Jazz against Chicago at 8 o'clock. And then maybe DeJuan Harris will get some run as the Wolves take on Portland at 10 o'clock. We'll let you know tomorrow what those guys do tonight. After this, though, we are going to bring on a special guest from the Kansas City Sports Network. It's going to be Nick Springer.
Who?
That's next. ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com.
Hey, this is Sasha Khan, and you're watching kansasnation.com.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
Get 0.9% APR or a $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas models. 2026 Atlas Crossport 3.9% APR or $3,500 customer bonus. 26 Tiguan models now 1.9% APR or a $2,500 customer bonus.
Jayhawk fans, if you haven't started to follow Kansas Nation on social, now is the time. Facebook, Instagram, X, it's Kansas Nation, and online at kansasnation.com for the latest news and information on your Kansas Jayhawks. Interviews, news conferences, daily and weekly shows, podcasts. Find it all at Kansas Nation and kansasnation.com. Kansasnation.com is presented by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game with Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
KU and K-State bring their bitter basketball rivalry to the basketball tournament in Topeka this summer. Kansas alumni team Jayhawks Hoops, led by Frank Mason III and Marcus Garrett, take on K-State alumni team Purple Rain, starring Michael Beasley and Xavier Sneed. Catch the action at Lee Arena in Topeka, July 22nd, as the Big 12 foes duke it out on the road to TBT's $2 million grand prize. Don't miss the chance to check out and support your favorite former Jayhawks in just a few weeks. Get your tickets now at tbthoops.com.
Jayhawk fans, show up, pack the field house, and wave the wheat. When it comes to money, Ameritrust brings that same energy. That's because financial well-being isn't just something they offer, it's why they exist. Real people, local decisions, a team that actually knows your name. When you're ready to improve your financial game plan, they are ready. Ameritrust Credit Union is the official financial well-being partner of Kansas Athletics. Visit ameritrust.org to learn more. Federally insured by the NCUA. All right, let's bring on Nick Springer.
Who?
Kansas City Sports Network. Thanks for joining us here.
What's up, boys?
In studio, as you do every Monday. Appreciate
Wait, I do
you
this
taking
every
the
Monday?
time.
God, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
that's
every
crazy.
Monday.
It's Monday.
Wow.
It has. Sometimes on Tuesdays.
Jeez.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah.
Who
so
said I was
true.
having fun?
Time flies in the off season,
sorry.
I guess.
That's why this is drudging along.
Nick, KU baseball, 4 drafted and a couple guys not drafted. Let's start there. Tyson LeBlanc, incredible season that he had, a record-breaking season here at KU. And then Dom Vagley also gets selected early. He was a 3rd-round pick. Second-day selections were Brady Ballinger and Matisse Nayral. Kind of your thoughts as Coach Fitz has come in here, and it's no secret that KU's brought in more talent than they had in the past, and people are noticing.
Well, first of all, I don't know if either of you happened to try to tune into the MLB draft. It was the production of the whole thing was kind of a disaster.
That's what I heard.
Rob Manfred mispronounced Rock Chalowski's name on the first pick.
First pick, yep.
They also I don't know if you're aware, but they switched where you watch the draft on. So it's like everybody got in a boardroom and thought, how could we make this the most inconvenient way for fans to watch? And let's do that. Because it was on NBC for like the first 10 picks. Then it was like streaming. Then it went to MLB. It made no sense. Then there was also they were like actively tearing down the stage while they were live.
Oh, that's awesome.
On the second day. So really bizarre production there from the MLB. But in terms of the KU stuff, yeah, really cool. Tyson LeBlanc is the highest drafted position player, I think, in KU history. I think somebody was drafted in 1993. I'm forgetting blank on the name.
90. Curtis Shaw.
1990. Yeah, there you go.
1990.
But yeah, so obviously LeBlanc deserved it, right? I mean, had a phenomenal season this year for KU. Set a bunch of records, including the home run record for KU. And obviously Don Bailey did the same thing with strikeouts. So yeah, really cool stuff there for KU. And you guys may have seen, but Bodie Ray actually announced that he's going to be returning to KU.
That's right.
So, and this was kind of a weird MLB draft. Like, okay, listen. I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert on, overslot, underslot, all the crap that the MLB does with the draft. But what I have seen from people that are smarter than me, that I trust, is that this draft was a little bit different because teams are recognizing that if you're going to draft a guy later in the draft, for instance, you may have to be willing to fork over more money to get that guy, especially if it's a college guy.
Yeah.
Because he can get NIL. He can get NIL to stay and play at wherever school he's at, right? So I think there was some different drafting strategies that we saw from MLB teams about how they wanted to distribute their money. Because in the era of NIL and obviously the increasing investment across the board, obviously we've talked about how Kansas is wanting to increase its investment in baseball too. But just generally speaking, the increase in investment, like if you're a college guy and you get drafted in the 13th round or whatever it is, and that slot is going to pay you, a couple $100,000 or whatever it is, and you can get that much potentially to stay wherever you're playing college ball at, that's a decision you have to make, right? And that's a decision that the colleges have to make, right? Like if you're KU, do you try to come in with a bigger NIL for some of these guys that got drafted to KU and say, hey, why don't you just come play here for another year? Screw the MLB, right? Or does the MLB team that drafted you have to come in and say, okay, this pick slot value is this much, but we're going to be willing to pay more so that you sign with us and come into our organization versus potentially staying in college. So there's a lot of differing factors, I think, than what we've seen in the past. And honestly, guys, the MLB is like light years behind the other major sports leagues when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's pretty mind-boggling just in terms of how they handle it, the spectacle of it, right? Like, you think about the NFL draft or even the NBA draft, right, with Darren Peterson. Like, these are major events. These are, prime events that take place for these leagues. And the MLB draft is randomly starting at 12:30 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon when there's actual MLB games happening.
Right, yeah.
In the middle, like, I get obviously.
Why are they not doing it Wednesday when there's nothing else going on?
Yeah.
They moved it. They used to have this. Didn't they used to have it earlier? They used to have it in like April or something. Well, the
thing about it, actually, interestingly enough, is that it wasn't televised for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even – they didn't even start televising it until, like, maybe, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah. You wouldn't even see who anybody drafted until it came out in, like, the newspaper.
Right, exactly.
Later,
or, like, you'd have to, like, listen on the radio or something. Like, I don't know, who listens to the radio? I mean,
right, yeah.
Dude, come on, man. But
shout out to everybody listening over on ESPN, Kansas City.
But, yeah, so they're so far behind on all this stuff. And obviously, like I said, with the NIL and everything, it also adds another level to it. So – obviously very exciting for the KU guys. We know that this KU team has talent and had talent this past season, and they're going to continue to bring in talent. And so now you're adding another calculation for KU, and that, like I kind of talked about, which is, hey, you may have guys get drafted, but can you fork up enough NIL money to maybe say, hey, maybe play another year here, and instead of getting drafted in the 15th round, you might get drafted in like the 5th round next year, or whatever it may be. To try to maximize your dollars. So it's interesting, but yeah, really excited for the guys that did get drafted for KU. And, LeBlanc, I think, is a really, really quality player. And Don Bagley's exciting. KU, even before Dan Fitzgerald got here, was actually producing some major league pitchers, guys that were getting to the major leagues as pitchers. And so to continue that is pretty cool. And yeah, it just goes to further underscore that, what Dan Fitzgerald is doing is he's taking players that maybe are performing at a lower level, like a Tyson LeBlanc, but he's clearly elevating them, right? Because Tyson LeBlanc, I don't think is going to gets drafted 61st overall if he's still doing what he was doing the previous season, right? So players are coming to KU, and they are clearly getting elevated. They are clearly getting better, being in the system, being coached by Dan Fitzgerald and his coaching staff, and the result is more guys are getting drafted. Which again, in sort of a cyclical manner, gets back to that's just another recruiting tool for KU, right? And so that should help them a lot, also on the recruiting trail, to say, hey man, you can go from JUCO to a second or third round draft pick if you come to Kansas.
Yeah.
Like that's a reality that you can make happen. That's a pretty good selling point, I think, for maybe some of those types of guys. So yeah, pretty cool stuff. Even though the MLB itself is kind of a disaster.
Yeah, right. Well, absolutely, and that's no secret to anybody. But yeah, I mean that's a great point in terms of the development for Kansas. Like you said, that's another recruitment tool to get guys in, where it's like, hey, we can take Matisse Navral, who went to some tiny little JUCO in Arizona, played in France.
Dude, there goes all the Mesa, Arizona fans.
Well, yeah, sorry guys, sorry everybody. But I mean, finding these diamond in the rough and bringing them to a national stage and then getting them to the MLB, like that's just another recruiting tool. And I liked what you said, because that's the constant between the major sports, NFL, NBA and MLB in particular, though, which is guys stay in college longer because there's money there, right? And I think that's the silver lining for guys like us who like, college athletics. At least, I love college basketball and college football and college baseball more than I like the professional rankings, and it's keeping guys in college for longer because the money is there. So
is this a safe space?
Yes, it is.
Nobody else listening?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I like the NFL better than anything.
Okay, though, and the NFL, sure.
NFL to me is better than college football.
That's fair. I think I like college football. I think I
NFL
follow college football closer than I follow NFL. I still follow the NFL incredibly close.
NFL's way better than college football.
Well, sure, in the talent level.
NBA to college basketball.
NFL's different though, because you have to wait until you're a junior or whatever to actually go to.
Obviously,
the NFL
March
draft.
Madness makes college basketball great, but again, I don't know. Yeah, but that's maybe a conversation for a different day.
Yeah, fair enough. But still, college basketball, at least in college baseball, like both of those, like the talent retention is significantly higher ever since we've gotten into the NIL era of this. I wanted to talk to you about some of the other guys, because Kansas had a lot of guys who were draft eligible who were big pieces of this baseball team from last year. Namely, Lynn, you mentioned it, Bodie Ray announcing that he's going to be coming back to Kansas. You also have Cade Baldridge, Augusto Munguerieta, and Dylan Schlotterbeck. Those three guys, I mean, they were draft eligible. They didn't get drafted. Now, they could potentially get signed later. We're pre-recording the show, so we don't necessarily know. But, I mean, talk about the potential of those guys coming back and kind of retaining that infield that you have, because Cade Baldridge was great at second base. Schlotterbeck was great at third. Munguerieta, outstanding catcher. And all three of those guys have major bats as well.
That would actually be an outlier for Dan Fitzgerald.
Yeah, it would be.
I mean,
right?
He's had to turn over his roster pretty dramatically every year that he's been here, with guys coming and going. And so that retention would be – I'd be fascinated by that, because that's not necessarily something that he's had very much of. Like when you look at this year's team, it was basically Brady Ballinger, and that's it in terms of field players, right? You had Don Bigley back, but like in terms of field players, it's Brady Ballinger.
Yeah.
And you've brought in a bunch of new guys. So if all of a sudden you're talking about retaining 3, 4, 5 guys that were, everyday starters for you, that would be a very interesting situation for KU to find themselves in, to have those guys stick together, because that's not necessarily something that this KU team has had since Dan Fitzgerald's got here. There's been such a heavy focus on the transfer portal and a heavy focus on recruiting, and that's paid off for KU. But all of a sudden have a chance to maybe – have a core of 4 guys from a Big 12 title winning team come back. On top of that, you're going to be, presumably looking to add more guys via the JUCO ranks or transfer portal, whatever it is. And I know KU's already added some guys. It's kind of hard to track that stuff, though. By the way, you kind of have to be a social media super sleuth. Some of that stuff with especially with baseball recruiting, especially. There's not necessarily a 24/7 Sports or Rivals.
You see it everywhere on
rankings.
Everything. Yeah, for basketball and football.
Right. So they've obviously already been putting in the work and starting to build their roster for this fall and then obviously next spring. But yeah, that would be really interesting to see what they do if they are able to say, hey, here's 4 of our guys from our lineup last year that are back to help carry through some of that culture, which obviously that's not been an issue at KU, right? Like Dan Fitzgerald himself clearly carries the culture of the program and of what he's looking to develop out of his team. So that'd be very exciting. Again, Bodie Ray obviously is the guy that we already did see that he announced he is going to be coming back, which is really huge for KU because you figure he's going to be your lockdown guy again, I would think, at this stage for KU. So that's good. You start to look at the starting rotation. That's probably where you're wanting to answer some more questions if you're KU at this point. But, retention in any sport, in any situation is a good thing. There's no other way to put it. It's just that's good. That's cool. It gives a better way for fans to connect with teams, to stay connected to programs. Say, hey, I remember that guy from last year. Something like that seems kind of silly to say, but it's true. It's real. If you have a group of guys that are in the program, it gives you that much more of a connection to fans and fans around the program, and can say, hey, I remember those guys.
It gets exhausting, too, learning a new team every single year.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, but no, especially in the college ranks, that point is true and something that people have missed the last 5 or 6 years with the transfer portal going on and everything changing in college athletics. Nick Springer, Kansas City Sports Network, joining us here in studio. Nick, Big 12 Football Media Days was last week. KU had 5 representatives there in Frisco, Texas. They had 0 representatives on the All Big 12 preseason team. We thought maybe Trey Lathan would get a look on that front. He didn't. We thought Leroy Harris. Leroy Harris, by the way, EA Sports College Football has him at a 73 overall. What is that about? I mean, this is a guy who could be an All Big 12 first-team performer. But any thoughts from Media Day? You have Calvin Clements, who needs to have a big year. The offensive line in general needs to come together well, and some other talented guys out there as well. Yeah,
I can't. On the topic of the All Big 12 teams, I think kind of what you mentioned there, Sean, it's not really that surprising that KU didn't get any guys. I think if you're talking preseason, Trey Lathan's the only guy that I think has the pedigree to say, hey, this guy could deserve a preseason nod. Now, does KU have half a dozen to 10 guys that certainly have the potential to be an All Big 12 caliber player? I think so, yes. You mentioned Leroy Harris, a guy like Blake Harold. You look in the secondary with Jalen Todd. You've got several experienced safeties that could have big years. On the offensive side of the ball, you have Dylan Edwards, obviously. Justin Willis has been getting a lot of love. Could he have a breakout year and be that guy? Nick McMillan, Cam Pickett. There are plenty of candidates for guys that you could say, hey, if this guy plays to his potential, he could be an All Big 12 guy. But I think in terms of the preseason polls, polls not the right term, preseason teams, Trey Lathan was the only guy that you could look at and say, hey, this guy has the experience, he has the pedigree, he could be on there, but he didn't make it. So I wasn't too shocked by that. Beyond that, the only other thing that really stood out, obviously the quarterback thing was huge, and unsurprisingly there was nothing relating to that at this stage of the offseason given by anybody really, including Lance Leipold. But one topic of conversation that came up quite a bit with Lance Leipold at Big 12 Media Day was the London game, and for a couple reasons. I think my initial reaction was, you're kind of focusing a lot on one game. Well, guys, I don't know if you paid attention, but teams that play overseas, that overseas game defines their season.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, you look at what happens if you lose that game. It completely derails everything. If you go back, over the last half dozen years, teams that go play over there and lose, it's a disaster. So that is going to be a huge game for Kansas that could ultimately define their season and could be literally the difference between 4-8 and 7-5. You win that game, your momentum maybe carries you into conference play, and you're able to go on a run. You lose that game, you're jet lagged, you're coming back, you've got to play 9 straight games right after that. If it takes you a month to sort of recalibrate, you've already played 4 games, and you might have lost all 4 of them, or whatever it may be. So obviously it's a huge game. And Lance Leipold, unsolicited by the way, brought this up several times at Media Day, which tells me that he's really been thinking about it. And he talked about it quite a bit actually back in, I think this would have been April or March, whenever we had a chance to talk to him about it, is Lance Leipold gave the impression that he thought that because KU was going to accept this overseas game, they would get to play week 0. And KU chose to accept this game under that impression.
Yeah.
Now, we're getting KU side. We don't know what the NCAA side is, but KU side is, hey, we took the game, we went to the NCAA, and the NCAA said, sorry, no week 0 game for you, right? Like, that's KU's side. So, we're only getting one side of the story really here, but clearly I think there was definitely some frustration on Lance Leipold's part, especially because he brought it up several times. Like, he wanted to talk about it. He wanted to say, like, hey, look, we took this game. We thought we were going to get week 0, and we didn't, right? And so it does make you wonder if KU would have known ahead of time, if they would have had this schedule, would they have said, do we want to play this overseas game? I mean, if you're Travis Goff and the athletic department, yes, you play it no matter what, right? In the grand scheme of things, like, yes, it's obviously a huge game. There's going to be a lot of spotlight on it. You're playing at a historic, stadium at Wembley. It's huge for your brand, for your school, right? But if you're Lance Leipold and you're sitting here saying, man, I need to make a bowl game this season.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to play this overseas game.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Do I want to play this game and then play 9 consecutive games after that? Like, I don't know. So it kind of becomes an interesting, thing to think about there. But it is what it is now. Like, it is what obviously KU, this is what they're going to do. But again, it is such a significant game for KU because of the fact that they are going to be playing 9 consecutive games afterwards. That overseas game for what we've seen when college teams play in it, it can be so variant of how it impacts your team. There is a lot riding on that game for sure.
Yeah. Nick Springer, KCSN, Pay Heat Podcast, joins the show here not via Zoom. Oh my gosh, what am I talking about? He's in studio.
I am actually on Zoom.
He's right here.
Yeah, I'm actually on Zoom.
He's right here.
I have a special hologram.
Yeah.
That
we paid a lot of money for a Nick Springer hologram.
Only me though, nobody else. It's special.
I know. Yeah,
special for me.
A lot of money for a Nick Springer only hologram. On the football side of things, I saw a clip be posted from the KCSN podcast or the Pay Heat podcast.
Yeah.
Trey Salado was talking about, where he sees wins. He wasn't even sure if he saw 5 wins, I guess.
Right. Put egg on his face.
Yeah. Hopefully there's egg on his face. He said if that does happen, we can buy the eggs and put it on his face. Do you share that same sentiment? I guess, like, looking through, because, I can always talk myself into 12 wins, but realistically you're seeing like maybe 6 or 7, if you're really, really optimistic about it. I guess your thoughts on the season as a whole.
I mean, I hate to say it, guys, but it's so much of it, I think, again, weighs on the London game. Like, if you win that game, okay, sure, yeah, you can get to 7 wins. If you lose that game, I don't know if I really see the path after that. Because you look at their non-conference schedule, the Missouri game's obviously going to be very tough.
You can't go 0-2 in those 2 games, to your point, right?
Right.
If you go 0-2 in those 2, that's bad.
Here's the other problem. You get the Arizona State game in London. Then you come back and play Middle Tennessee State. Okay, fine. What are your next 2 games after that?
At Utah,
consecutive back-to-back at Utah and at K-State. So you're going to be coming off the London game. You're going to get a chance to maybe kind of, retool a little bit against Middle Tennessee State. And then you're going to play arguably the 2 most physical teams in the conference.
Yeah.
2 weeks removed from a trip to London, right? So, and obviously the K-State game has, extra meeting that without having to, that goes unsaid, right? Especially with the fact that now it's going to be Dylan Edwards on Kansas going back to K-State. Like that, that's going to be a juiced-up game. So you got that problem. You play Oklahoma State, who has 87 new players, but you don't play them until the last game of the season. So they're going to have time to figure out their team a little bit. You dodge Texas Tech and you dodge BYU, but I don't know, man. It's the London game again. It could swing things so significantly because in that 9-game stretch, you get a home game against Baylor, which if DJ Lagway sucks, okay, fine, you can maybe win that one. You get a home game against TCU. Okay, maybe. You've historically had some close games against TCU, but you haven't necessarily always gotten over the hump against them. You've got a game against UCF. That one probably is the one you'd probably circle as this to say, hey, or is the TCU game on the road?
TCU game's in Fort Worth, yeah.
Okay, right. So that now that I start thinking about it, it's like I got TCU and UCF mixed up. UCF is at home. So UCF would be the other game you'd circle and say like, hey, win that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But all right, guys, let's do the math here. LIU, Middle Tennessee State, UCF
and then probably
Baylor. Maybe. That's 4 games.
Yeah.
You're saying they have 4 games that they maybe can win. And really only 2 of them you're really confident in.
Yeah.
But again, everything comes back to, I think, Arizona State, which that's kind of a toss-up game. And again, if you win it, that could springboard you into, hey, beat Middle Tennessee State. Maybe you find a way to beat K-State finally, or compete against Utah, and then you're able to pick up some wins at home. I don't know.
It's interesting because
it's a little scary
in sports, and this is lame for me to say, but in sports you really don't know because, look, last year KU was up 21-6 on Missouri. They completely outplayed Utah the last game, and those are games that, on paper, if we were having this conversation, last year, we'd be saying there's no way Kansas has a chance in those games. So,
double-digit underdogs,
Yeah. So on the flip side, you look UCF and maybe Baylor. That would be great if Kansas gets to 4 wins by winning those 2. But then you're not going to say Kansas has no chance at TCU, at K-State, at
it's going to be just like
Oklahoma
2024 and 2025, where you're going to have probably minimum 4 or 5 games that the line is going to be pretty tight, and it could go either way. Now, unfortunately for Kansas, the past 2 years, those games have pretty much almost exclusively all gone against them.
Right. Yeah, right.
And
can't close them out.
And
always one-possession games.
My fear is that if you lose that Arizona State game, that's going to even more so set you up to probably be on the wrong side again of some of those games. So we'll see. And obviously the quarterback situation is a concern as well, just in terms of, who KU ends up going with, what that looks like. On the if you want to go with the glass half full side of things, you just have to basically put a lot of faith in Andy Kotelnicki.
Yeah.
Right. That's really what it comes down to, is just you brought back Andy Kotelnicki for this reason. You're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to, make things happen, because this offense, while at the skill positions may have a little bit more talent than what we've seen in the past couple seasons, no Jalen Daniels, right?
Right.
So, and for as good as Jalen Daniels was, he was also obviously, really struggled in some games. But even still, I think he still gave you that element of, hey, KU can do this.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have that right now with whoever they decide to go with. So you just have to put a lot of faith in Andy Kotelnicki that he's going to be able to, work his magic.
Yeah, and on the defensive side, DK McDonald has to be better at the end of games too. The guys have to execute better, because the last 2 seasons it's been not good. To your point about that, and
I don't know if I talked about this with you guys here, but with DK McDonald, man, the bar is very low. Just be average. If you're just an average Big 12 defense, that's probably fine. That's probably good enough.
You mentioned it. You gave him some grace last year, but this year it's you're
definitely
not getting as. I mean, you were a first-year coordinator.
Right.
We
Take
understand
what you learned last year.
You've got your footing, but
you've got, I think, objectively more talent, probably, from top to bottom of this defense than you had last season. Go do something.
Yeah.
Especially in the fourth quarter. That needs to be an improvement for KU. And to your point, you look at K-State last year, maybe no example is better in general.
There's a bunch of examples. I mean,
than what you gave for overseas teams than Florida State a couple years ago.
Right. Well, you think about Nebraska same deal.
Too,
Nebraska.
Yeah,
Florida State was a top 10 team. They lose to Georgia Tech and they go 2-10.
Yeah.
Nebraska, same deal. They go over there. They lose to Northwestern. I don't even know what. I think they went probably 3-9 or 2-10.
And K-State had a good
obviously
performance against us and 1 or 2 other ones, but overall their season kind of was off the rails.
Right.
After that too. So that's a big game coming up September 19th. KU Arizona at Wembley Stadium. Nick Springer, Kansas City Sports Network. Always appreciate your time. We'll chat soon.
Thanks.
All right.
No Tour de France talk. I'm sad again.
More coming up after this. We're going to hear from Frank Mason via Zoom. That is next. ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com.
What's up? I'm Bodie Ray with Kansas Baseball, and you're watching kansasnation.com.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn. You want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
At the heart of a city lies the restless, the visionaries, the bold. From redefining events to guiding local youth, providing lifelines of industry, or reshaping wellness across the region, You deserve a financial partner that matches your ambition. At Meritrust, we handle the finances, so you can take care of the bold. Meritrust Credit Union. Business, banking, bold.
Jayhawk fans, if you haven't started to follow Kansas Nation on social, now is the time. Facebook, Instagram, X, it's Kansas Nation, and online at kansasnation.com for the latest news and information on your Kansas Jayhawks. Interviews, news conferences, daily and weekly shows, podcasts. Find it all at Kansas Nation and kansasnation.com. kansasnation.com is presented by Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Step up your game with Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
If you're talking trucks, you're talking Lewisburg Ford. With over 100 new F-150s on the lot, Lewisburg Ford is your truck headquarters. Right now, get up to $13,500 off MSRP on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT or 2.9% financing. Lewisburg Ford has been awarded the 2025 Ford President's Award. They are the #1 F-150 dealer in KC 9 years running, so you know they'll treat you right. Lewisburg Ford and lewisburgford.com.
Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here on ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com. You know the feeling. The field house gets loud, the chant starts low, and the Jayhawks bring the energy. That is Lawrence. Meritrust Credit Union thinks your money deserves that same feeling. A team in your corner that's pulling for you, win or lose, season after season. Financial well-being isn't just something they offer. It's why they exist. First car, first home, first business. Whatever's next in your money story, they're right around the corner at 6th and Wakarusa in West Lawrence. Real people making real decisions locally. Meritrust Credit Union is the official financial well-being partner of Kansas Athletics. Stop by the branch or visit meritrust.org. Federally insured by the NCUA. Hey, at the end of last week, we had an opportunity to hear from Frank Mason on Zoom. Of course, the basketball tournament is coming up next week. It's a best 2 out of 3 in the first round. Jayhawks hoops against Purple Rain. KU alum against K-State alum. A guy previously on the roster for Jayhawks hoops in the basketball tournament as recently as last night was LeGerald Vick. He is no longer on the roster. You may have seen in the news that Vick, who was a former KU basketball player, played with the Jayhawks from 2015 to 2019, has been charged with attempted first-degree murder as well as using a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. He was arrested Saturday by Memphis Police Department officers and booked into the Shelby County Jail in Memphis, Tennessee, according to court records. There's an article written by Shreyas Latta and Ben Wheeler on KansasCityStar.com, kansascity.com/sports if you want to find this article for more information, but we're not going to comment on that further other than saying that he, of course, will not be participating with Jayhawks hoops in the basketball tournament. The current roster is Frank Mason III, Marcus Garrett, Zeke Mayo, Thomas Robinson, and then Thomas Cruz as well, who, of course, didn't play at KU. More information on that. But, yeah, that's coming up next week, so it's going to be very important. At the time of this Zoom, which, again, was before the news came out over the weekend about Vick, Frank Mason had an opportunity to speak to members of the media such as us, and we asked him a variety of different questions in advance of the basketball tournament, which will begin in Manhattan a week from tomorrow.
For questions here in a second, but Frank, why don't we kind of start with like a quick opening statement on your excitement to be in TBT again and playing for Jayhawks hoops, and then we can open the floor for questions.
Yeah, hey guys. I'm just finishing up a workout, but yeah, I'm really excited to get back out there. You know, under the Jayhawk colors. This will be my 3rd year, so I'm just looking forward to competing and winning as much as possible. It'll be exciting just to get back, around some of the guys, the other alumni players, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Guys, if you want to jump in with questions, feel free. We can just go one at a time here.
Yeah, Frank, I guess why'd you want to come back and represent KU again this year after what you did last year?
I think last year was just more of a business decision. I just talked it over with the family, and they kind of just encouraged me to play with that team last year. But that's not what I truly wanted to do. Jayhawks is always where my heart is, and I just felt right to bring it back this year and play with the guys.
Hey, Frank, how excited are you for the best of 3 against K-State starting up here in a couple weeks?
I can't wait, man. Working hard, working out every day, preparing, and I'm just looking forward to competing against them. Bringing back the memories from back in college. It's not the same team or same guys, but it's just the feeling and um, just the thought of playing against K-State. It's something I'm looking forward to.
That first game is inside Bramlage. Do you have any favorite memories from
Yeah,
your time at
I didn't
KU
know that at
playing
first.
playing at
Honestly, I just
K-State?
found out maybe a couple of days ago. I didn't realize that, but that'll be really fun. So can't wait to step out there.
Frank, you've played in this tournament before. Just curious your thoughts on the new format with getting kind of a best of three series against K-State. A little different than the past, but you kind of like the familiarity of that?
Yeah, I like it. It's a different format for me, but I think it's really cool. Just a best of three, and not just a one elimination game. So give both teams a chance to come back after if a win or a loss, and make some adjustments and just give another shot at it. So I think it's a good format.
Frank, how's this team starting to shape up? I guess, with obviously Zeke Mayo, Marcus Garrett, LaGerald Vick. I mean, what's your confidence level, I guess, going into this?
I'm extremely confident, no matter who step on the court, but we got a lot of good guys, a lot of good alumni joining. I think we're missing like maybe a big or two, but the roster is shaping up pretty good. Got a lot of good shooters, a lot of athletic guards, and some really good bigs. So we got a pretty good team.
I think you said something when this was announced that this might be your last year playing basketball. Um, is that still your thought process? And I guess where are you at with that?
Yeah, it's kind of been on my mind a lot, but I'm still treating it as if I'm, preparing to play next year. But I'm really thinking about, this being my last year of playing basketball or last summer. It's definitely a thought that I have all the time, and I haven't made a decision yet, but it's been on my mind.
Is there anyone in particular that you are working on trying to get or that you would like to see added in the next 2 weeks that you hope you guys can get to join the team?
Yeah, I'm trying to get Udoka Azubuike to join the team. I think it'd be a great addition. Miss playing with him as well. So, and I think one other guard we might be looking for, maybe Malik Newman. We try to get Devontae, but I think those guys are, they have other obligations, so I'm not sure if they're available.
Frank, you've got some years left in the tank. You're thinking about hanging it up already?
Oh yeah, I have a lot of years left in the tank, honestly, man. But it's been a long journey, and I'm just thinking a lot about family now. It's all about my kids now, so it's just a lot.
Right. And what is life outside of basketball? Any interest or anything that you'd like to do, coaching or I know you mentioned family, but anything in particular you would like to pursue?
Yeah, I would love coaching. Honestly, I've been thinking about that too, and I think I'll be really good on that end. And I'm just not sure what the process like, but I think I'm going to get into the coaching and just go from there.
Frank, can you tell us kind of a little bit about your family and what your life like is at home? I know Jayhawk fans would be interested to get an update on you.
Oh, it's great. Family is everything for me. They travel all over the world with me, and I have a son that everyone knows, a 14-year-old son, Amari. I have a daughter that's 2 years old named Mila, and they'll be there at the TBT tournament. So a big part of my journey, and I think it's just time for me to focus more on them now, more on the fatherhood.
Frank, where do you live now?
I live in Atlanta.
Uh,
Yeah, Atlanta.
And when did you get back from France?
I got back in May, like the second week in May. Yeah.
How'd you guys do this year?
I was up and down. We started pretty good. And I made a few some adjustment with the coaches. And it went down, started to be bad, and then we finished the season pretty strong. So ups and downs, the game of basketball. So
how often do you talk to Coach Bill?
Every once in a while. I spoke to him recently though. We always having good conversations. Coach Townsend. I speak to those guys every once in a while, but whenever we talk, it's all love. I miss those guys.
Anything in particular that you've learned about the TBT from the last 2 times playing in it that you'll take into this one, or things you think are key for others to know about the tournament?
I think just competing from the jump. Every possession matters. I think it's really cool how they do the Elam ending. I think that's pretty unique and a cool format as well. But other than that, it's just competing. Playing to win and playing for each other.
Frank, you talked about getting into coaching. What about it appeals to you? What type of challenges does that create for you competitively? And is there any advice you've gotten from some of your coaches in the past?
I haven't got much advice on coaching from coaches in the past, but just learning from different coaches I've been around and played for, and just taking little things from them and combining that with, my character and my personality and, what I stand for as a basketball player, and just trying to find that edge of being the best coach, I can possibly be. And I just have the confidence to know that I'll be a great coach. And if I did stop early right now and I could physically get out there and get on the court with the guys, which not many coaches can do, so that's something that I thought about as well, but yeah.
How about your game, Frank? We know you obviously as a guy who's getting downhill, great shooter. You're still working on your game, played a lot overseas. What can fans expect to see?
They can expect to see the Frank Mason that they're used to seeing at KU. I'm in great shape. I feel good. And I'm just ready to get out there and put on a show and, win. So they can expect to see the Frank Mason that they're used to seeing. Or that they have seen in the past.
Do you follow KU very close during the season when they're playing?
Yeah, I try to, but being in France is pretty hard with the time difference. So I think it's like 6 or 7 hours ahead. So I'm usually asleep whenever they're playing or the games are going. But whenever I get up, I kind of check in and try to see what's going on or just look it up on social media or something. But I try to stay in touch and see what's going on.
Did you have any opinion last year about Darren coming in and out with the cramps and all that? Wasn't it a crazy season?
Yeah, I didn't hear much about it, but someone did say something to me about it, but I didn't hear anything. I don't really know what was going on. I just heard about some cramps or something, so I didn't really have much to say. I don't know what happened with that situation.
Any other final questions for Frank here before we let him go? Going once, going twice. All right. Awesome.
Thanks, Frank. You're the man. We'll see you in Manhattan.
Thank you, guys, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Frank.
Thanks, Frank.
All right.
That is Frank Mason III. He will be participating in the basketball tournament with Jayhawks Hoops. Dan, we take a look at the roster again. It's Frank Mason III, Marcus Garrett, Zeke Mayo, Thomas Robinson, and then a gentleman named Thomas Cruz. So just 5 guys on the roster to this point.
Yeah, just 5 guys, and losing LaGerald Vick like that. I mean, that's obviously incredibly a terrible situation that's happening right now. So again, we're not going to comment too far on it, but in terms of the TBT, roster's probably not where exactly you want it to be as of right now. Still, you have some time to fill it out. I know Tyshawn is involved somewhat. I don't know if he's going to be playing. I would imagine he's going to be in some kind of coaching capacity. Might need to wind up playing. But, just a really unfortunate situation. But, again, you're going to be able to see Frank Mason play basketball once again, which is so much fun to watch. I remember the last time we saw him in a TBT jersey. Was it Mass Street at that point? That was a lot of fun to watch for Frank Mason. And, again, he's gotten into a lot better shape, and supposedly, he's going to be a lot of fun to watch. T-Rob, again, Marcus Garrett, Zeke Mayo, like those guys are going to be electric to watch for this TBT. Hopefully you hear some news coming out in the future, potentially maybe more guys getting involved with TBT. We're hearing some rumblings right now, but as it sits, you got 5, and one of them's not a KU guy. So, we'll certainly see how this all shakes out.
It's interesting because...
Should we text Tyshawn and see if we want to play?
Frank Mason's going to be rocking the 0.
Yes.
Which means Thomas Robinson needs a different number. He's going to be wearing 15.
And
also means Marcus Garrett needs a different number. Right. He's going to be wearing 13. Zeke Mayo is lined up to wear number 5. But yeah, as it is right now, the coaching staff, Sharon Collins listed as the head coach, Braden Griffiths, who is representative of Baker. He will be an assistant coach. Stephanie Temple, the GM, and then the sponsors, First Logistics, Cruise Elite Basketball Academy, and Pure Hydration. So yeah, some work to do this week from a roster standpoint for Jayhawks hoops. And again, the way this is set up now, you have 8 alumni teams, one of which will emerge and face the winner of the 8 non-alumni teams who will be partaking on their own side of the bracket, if you will, in Vegas, and then that'll be the championship. It's a $2 million prize, so the prize pool is bigger. There are a lot fewer teams, so it's cool that KU even has a representative. I mean, KU, obviously, we know is a blue blood college basketball, perhaps the bluest of them all, but you don't have alums from programs like Duke, North Carolina. What you have is KU versus K-State, and then you have Wichita State alums, the Aftershocks, against New Mexico alums, the Enchantment. And again, slow producing rosters, I guess, as Donovan Dent is the only one on the roster right now for the Enchantment. But if KU were to emerge from this round of 8, if you will, to go on to the Final Four of the alumni side of the bracket, they'll take on the winner of the Aftershocks and the Enchantment. And then on the top portion of the bracket, you have Syracuse alumni, Boeheim's Army, against the Seton Hall alumni, Hall In. And then the other matchup is La Familia, which is the Kentucky alumni, and the Ville, Louisville alumni. So it's just strange how different it's going to be. You're still going to have the Elam ending, that sort of thing, which I think is fun. That's a nice little wrinkle part of this. And you still do have some alumni from other teams, but it's not really, I think if we're being totally honest, what dreams are made of if you're a kid. If you're a kid, you're thinking, oh my God, former Jayhawks coming back. I mean, you're thinking NBA guys coming back, and you're only playing for the college that you played ball. I mean, you've got guys listed on La Familia who played ball at Marquette, Maryland, Villanova. I mean, it's not really kind of what you, and logistically it's
Kirk Kriisa was on that.
Yeah, no comment on that for sure. But
on.
Donovan Dent, of course, finished his career at UCLA. He's the only one listed right now on the Enchantment, so we'll see how that works. But a lot of Wichita State alums or guys who at least attended Wichita State in some capacity are on the Aftershocks. Of course, they have won this thing in the past as recently as last year. Marcus McDovey, you've got Morris Udeze, you've got Rashard Kelly, and of course Connor Frankamp is back. This is kind of his claim to fame is the basketball tournament. But yeah, very interesting setup, and the schedule right now, which we will have some representatives for Kansas Nation out there. Tuesday, July 21st, 8 o'clock at Bramlage Coliseum. Game 1 of Jayhawks Hoops against Purple Rain. Game 2 will be Wednesday at Lee Arena in Topeka, 7 p.m. That's the quasi-home game for KU. And then if necessary, Dan, Game 3, Friday, July 24th, back at Bramlage. So Purple Rain has the so-called home court advantage in more ways than one, since KU's home court will be over in Topeka.
That's very true. I'm going to be out there, actually, to hopefully only 2 is what we'll need, because I don't want to drive out to Manhattan twice. That's just a terrible drive. It stinks over there. But yeah, I'm going to be out there at hopefully all of the games. Hopefully, again, only 2. But it should be a lot of fun. And again, K-State, with Michael Beasley coming back, should be a good time. But, I like at least the 5 that Kansas has, but you're going to need some more guys, just in terms of some bench pieces, some depth pieces, because these guys can't get around like they used to. So you're going to need some kind of, guys getting out there and at least giving some of these other guys some rest. So we'll certainly see about that. But yeah, I mean, really exciting. And again, it's always so much fun to see all these former KU guys of the past. Like, it's just like T-Rob and, Frank Mason in particular, like those 2 guys, like I watched them when I was, a kid and up through high school, and even, Frank, at least through my first year of college, and just so much fun to see those guys back in action, but donning the crimson and blue.
Yeah. If you can only have a few of them back, then KU's got a good group of that with Frank Mason and Thomas Robinson, 2 of the all-time great Jayhawks, and Marcus Garrett, a defensive player of the year as well. Yeah. I mean, A lot of talent. Zeke Mayo was a fan favorite, even though he happened to be on the team that ended up as a 7 seed a couple years ago for KU. But yeah, we'll see who is an addition. You heard Frank say they're trying to get Udoka Azubuike. That'd be a welcome sight.
That would be awesome,
wouldn't it? But yeah, you're probably going to get some guys who didn't play ball here at KU, but we'll be supporting Jayhawks hoops throughout next week's run and hopefully past next week in the basketball tournament. Case of the Mondays segment coming up next right here on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com.
I'm Tyson LeBlanc, and you're watching KansasNation.com.
From Office Products Alliance. OPA is not just your local office products connection. We have expanded our offerings to network cabling installation, security cameras, door access, and IT services. We all need to keep pace with new technologies. You can trust a Kansas City company that has been your partner for 32 years. Check us out at opakc.com. Supporting local businesses and our community is more important than ever.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
Got a lot of backyard fun over the weekend. A little inflatable pool for my toddler. Spring and summer are made for backyard fun, but nothing ruins time outside, and I can vouch for this. More than fleas, ticks, and chiggers. That's why families trust Custom Lawn and Landscape to help keep their lawns beautiful and protected all season long. They've got a home insect control program that helps defend your yard from those pesky bugs. So if you've got kids out there, if you've got dogs out there, they can enjoy the outdoors more comfortably and safely. Right now, when you sign up for the season, your first application is absolutely free. A simple way to take back your backyard this summer. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your free first application with a seasonal insect control program. Custom Lawn and Landscape, helping you love your lawn without the bugs. Every Monday on the show, we have our Case of the Mondays segment, but I specifically remember, Dan, the past couple of years that we've been on air together, this segment this week.
Yeah.
Because we talk about how this is the worst sports week of the year. Now, the blow is softened a little bit with NBA Summer League, and we'll talk about that. We mentioned earlier there are some NBA Jayhawks trying to make their mark, trying to make some teams in action tonight and throughout. So there's that. And you do have the Home Run Derby tonight, and we've got a representative for the Royals and Jack Caglione. Got the MLB All-Star Game tomorrow. There's nothing, absolutely nothing on Wednesday in terms of baseball. Phillies, Mets play Thursday night, and then Friday is when, baseball returns for the second half of the season, if you will. But man, this is always a natural fit in our Case of the Mondays segment because it is the worst week of the year. Then it comes at us fast, though. Baseball returns and bam, fall camp.
That's true. But yeah, tomorrow, nothing. Wednesday, nothing.
You got the All-Star Game tomorrow.
All-Star Game tomorrow. Yeah, Wednesday, by the way, is my birthday.
Yeah.
So I wonder if my parents, or at least my dad, might have planned that just so he didn't have anything going on my birthday.
That would be smart.
Because he was like, all right, July 15th, usually there's nothing going on. So, all right, I have some time to have this baby for on July 15th. It's always worth. I've talked about this. Just my birthday is just an awful time of year because you get to July 15th. I've always thought this because you get to my birthday and then after that, the creeping feeling started to sink in of now there's more summer behind me than there is in front of me. At least in terms of school years. You know what I mean? Right around my birthday, that's when you started to see all the back to school commercials. It was summer started to get hot and you're like, oh man, the summer's already, we're more than halfway through. Got to get to school now. Now, granted, when you're in our line of work, like, you're excited for the summer to get over because then you have football to talk about and all these different things. And, eventually, like, very, very soon, we're going to have NFL exhibition games, NFL preseason. You talk about the Hall of Fame game, dude. Oh, I cannot wait.
Panthers,
I cannot
Cardinals.
wait for the Panthers and the Cardinals. I cannot wait for that game. But, yeah, this is legitimately the worst because I'm exactly like you. I remember this specific, like, case of the Mondays every single year on this date where you go,
well, here we are. But again,
here we are.
It does. I mean, we literally, for anybody who doesn't know, talk about this week and this time of year when it's in the middle of the season.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
It would be November, December. Like, man, this is great.
Yeah,
we got so
but at
much
least
to talk
it's
about.
not July.
And then it's
15th.
like, it's like, oh my God, the off season. What are we going to talk about?
Yeah.
But we found a way to grind through.
Power through.
But one thing that's for certain and that's helped us throughout, unquestionably, an inordinate amount of cup checks.
Cup check. A lot of cup checks. That's been nice.
Yeah.
How do you think the summer of 27 is going to be?
Cup checks. We've got Women's World Cup.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Women's World Cup.
Yeah.
Okay, and then 28, we got the Olympics.
Yeah.
And 29, you got nothing.
I don't know.
We got
no
nothing.
cup checks.
No cup checks. No
Don't
cup
have to
checks.
worry
Very
about that. Home Run Derby is tonight, though, and I'm going to get your picks later for who you think is going to win. We've talked before about the new format, but that kicks off our Case of the Mondays here.
Yeah, so Case of the Mondays for any of the kids in the outfield for the Home Run Derby, because this is from Buster Olney. Apparently he talked to Bryce Harper, and Bryce Harper, he said this as a pitch for the Home Run Derby. They're not doing this, but this is his idea for the Home Run Derby. He said, when gold balls are brought into play, so there's regular balls and then there's the gold balls at the end, he said, we should let the hitters swing aluminum bats. I do not like this because there's going to be a kid who gets
Bryce Harper,
a baseball go clean through the back of their skull.
Does Bryce Harper need a reminder of who is in this Home Run Derby?
Yeah.
Bryce Harper, Jack Caglione, Ben Rice, Wilson Contreras, Jordan Walker, Munetaka Murakami, Junior Caminero, and Kyle Schwarber. I saw a tweet in reaction to this from Lindsey Crosby, who's a guy, by the way. You don't get a lot of Lindsays who are guys, I don't think.
Lindsey Graham, R.I.P.
But he said, hope Netflix is going to air the Home Run Derby on a delay so they have a chance to blur out the dead bodies after Junior Caminero gets an aluminum bat and hits at 130 on a bomb that kills a fan in left field.
Yeah, dude.
I love it. Chicks dig the long ball. I don't want to see anybody die because somebody is swinging an aluminum bat.
Oh, those aluminum bats are... I mean, yeah, you get an aluminum bat in Bryce Harper's hands. Because, like, wasn't there a... Didn't he hit, like, a 500-plus foot home run when he was, like, a rookie? Or he was, like, 18 years old or something like that?
473 was his longest. I actually watched something. The longest home run that any of these guys hit was actually by the guy who's got the longest odds, Wilson Contreras. Plus, he has a... 491-foot bomb. He's plus 1,400.
But I thought
Caglione's is 466.
I thought I saw, like, I think it was, like, before Bryce Harper had gotten to the majors. He was using an aluminum bat and smoked one that was over 5. It was like 512 or something. Like, just an unbelievable.
It's hard enough being like a third baseman in slow pitch softball.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine against 45-year-olds. Like, I can't imagine.
That is terrifying. Yeah. No, I'm going to go ahead. Again, like you said, chicks do dig the long ball.
Yes.
I want to say for the safety of anyone in the surrounding counties, don't use aluminum bats.
Shout out to West Philadelphia, by
Born
the way.
and raised on the playground. That's my ringtone. I can't remember if I talked about this on the
You have many times.
My ringtone is still the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song.
You have, yes.
I bought it when it was like 99 cents on iTunes when I was like 12.
The old ringtone purchase.
And it's still my ringtone. If you call me right now and my ringer's on, it's going to be the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song. Shout out to Will Smith. How long is this suspension for the Oscars still? He got a 10-year suspension, didn't he? Hey, Case of the Mondays for the San Antonio Spurs. We have a video of this. Luke Cornett. So apparently this is going around. LeBron James is in free agency for the first time since, however long. It was 2018, I think is when it was. So now all these different teams are courting him. And the only way, Rich Paul came out with this and said the only way that teams are able to court him is through voice messages, right? So, we know that the Golden State Warriors are in contention for this. The Washington Wizards are trying to throw their hat in. The Cavs is obviously a big one, right? There's a couple of teams out there who are really, really wanting LeBron James to come to their team. Luke Cornett of the San Antonio Spurs threw his hat in the ring as well and gave his voice memo. Let's go ahead and play that right now.
Hey, LeBron, Mr. James. LeBron. It's Luke Cornett, number 7 of the San Antonio Spurs. You yelled at me a little bit last year. Anywho, I just wanted to, kind of extend the invitation to come over here to San Antonio. We got a great thing going. A lot of young talent, It's an easy place to live, tax-free, That's always something. You can play alongside, a generational player, and Victor too. Anyways, SeaWorld, La Panaderia, if it's hitting, bussin'. I think you'd love it. We have a guest room available if you need some time to kind of figure things out on your end. We'd be open to open our doors. Also a great place for kids, which I don't know, what age or how many. Oh, I know how old one of your kids is. 450 and all. But you should just come swing on by, try it out. We'd love to have you. I think it could be a swell old time. You're chasing number 5, and we've got 5, so looking for number 6 for us. So we're kind of all in the same ballpark. I meant to ask, my agent, he said that he sent it to you, but I don't know if it got lost in translation or something because he never really got it back. But if you could just we'll first find it, probably, and then sign it and send it back. I'd really appreciate that. Really, that was on a personal note, kind of apart from the pitch, but
I'm in.
You're in.
Bring me to San Antonio. So many good points. SeaWorld.
It's good. He can play against it. I like the fact that he's you can play with a generational talent and Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah.
Oh, classic.
Cornette, man.
So that would entice you to go to San Antonio.
Sure. Why not?
All right. Maybe it's not a case of Mondays for the Spurs. Maybe it's a case of Mondays for every other team in the NBA.
Do you think LeBron's going to end up in West Philly? Or
I actually think he's going to be a Warrior.
Still.
I don't think he wants to leave California.
Well, he likes to party, and that's the place
California
to be.
Likes to party.
There
Nobody
you
knows
go.
that better than Henry Greenstein of Hollywood and also the Bay Area.
Yeah.
Shout out
Orange County.
So that would get you. I
like it. I mean, I'm all about the
SeaWorld?
personality. SeaWorld?
Like
Probably
SeaWorld?
not the only SeaWorld ever. I actually don't know. Aren't there a ton of SeaWorlds, though?
What did he say? La Ponderia? Or there's some Mexican restaurant? He was like, it's pretty good.
Probably a Cornette family
Tax-free.
favorite.
I mean, tax-free.
Tax-free?
That's not bad.
That's good.
He's also a billionaire, so
yeah.
he doesn't really need any of those tax breaks.
We'll see where the king ends up. It is a case of the Mondays for Conor McGregor again as we fit in some UFC chatter. He goes for a ridiculous kick, and it does sound like he tore his ACL, according to Dana White, but I don't really understand what McGregor was doing. A jumping roundhouse kick where he lands on his foot, his knee goes the exact opposite way that you want it to. And I know from playing slow pitch softball, I mean, knee injuries are nothing to mess with.
Yeah,
and
of course.
He's headed for surgery. He says he's going to come back and fight, But yeah, McGregor goes down and Max Holloway gets the dub.
He will. I mean, how many times has Conor McGregor retired?
Right.
10 times probably. This is my last fight ever. Oh yeah, is that right? I mean, God, I remember he was talking about that in 2016, where he fought Floyd Mayweather. And then 10 years later, But so there have been conspiracy theories about this, about how he was supposedly injured beforehand and how he was walking tenderly. But I also saw a video of him actually practicing that same roundhouse kick. And like, if you have a torn ACL, you're not landing back on that right knee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I saw that video from beforehand, so I don't think but that does really suck. Oh man, who's that one fighter that broke his leg on a kick? Oh, he's a very, very, very famous fighter. I don't know. I can't remember his name, but who? No, not Conor McGregor. We're talking about Conor McGregor. No, never mind. Anyway, but yeah, that's really unfortunate for him.
Bummer.
Shout out to Max Holloway though. TKO. Was it 41 seconds? Well, no, it was in the first 3 seconds when he tore his ACL.
Yeah.
He was down.
Yeah.
And just that did
He
not
tried
look,
to give it the old college try.
did not
after
look
that. Didn't
good.
work.
If he comes back, sure, whatever. But he's 37, 38 years old. I mean, he's getting up there in age. He'll probably come back. He's probably going to say that he's retired, but then he'll come back. Whatever. Anyway, that was our UFC talk. We did a good job there.
There you go.
I think.
Tyler Hero.
Speaking of fist fights, Case Mondays for Tyler Hero.
fistfights.
Attempted fist fights. So this came out from Shams Charania. By the way, one of the funniest tweets. Shams does a really good job of making tweets really funny. This is from Shams Charania. Apparently on July 10th, Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero got into a physical altercation in Las Vegas on Friday, in which Adebayo struck Hero. Sources tell ESPN. This is apparently this is what happened. So the incident took place at a gym inside the Resorts World Casino in front of Hero's AAU team, according to multiple sources who witnessed the incident and were granted anonymity to discuss a sensitive matter. Adebayo walked onto the courts and Hero said something to him. Adebayo proceeded to walk over to Hero and without a hesitation punched him. Hero's AAU coach confronted Adebayo. Hero yelled at his former teammate while being escorted out by security personnel. Both players left the scene on their own. Hero appeared to have a small mark under his left eye during the interview, which occurred shortly before the news and altercation with Adebayo emerged. And we don't have the interview, but I saw the interview. He did have a mark under his left eye, and they asked him about his time in Miami, and Tyler Hero said, "Oh, it's all love in Miami." This is after, by the way, he got punched by Bam Adebayo. I mean, what do you make of this?
I'm watching the video right now. I'm trying to figure out if this is actually a legitimate
Oh, is it the video of him hitting it? No,
Yeah.
I think it's AI.
Okay, I was going to say,
very unfortunate.
That didn't look right.
No.
But I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. Obviously, that's
kinda crazy.
surprising. They're both Kentucky guys. Hero was drafted in 2017, Adebayo in 2015. They've been teammates forever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Strange. I
It
guess,
is
I guess
odd.
that's been on the mind of Adebayo ever since the comments came out.
Well, it's not even, I don't know. Bam shouldn't be too upset, I don't think. I guess,
What
Tyler,
all did Hero say?
So I mean, in terms of this, nothing.
What all did
right?
he say that
in terms of the comment?
This, yeah.
I don't nothing too bad. I don't think he wasn't talking trash on Miami. He wasn't saying anything super bad about anything. He was just excited to get going in Milwaukee. I mean, they traded him away obviously for Giannis. I don't know what the deal is, but apparently, I guess, well, who started it? It said Adebayo walked onto the courts and then Hero said something to him. Adebayo then walked over and then just punched him.
So what Al Overview is telling me is that they emerged after a private Instagram DM exchange leaked online, which isn't that ridiculous? They've been teammates for you're not texting each other at this point.
Seriously.
You slide into the DMs. Hero questioned Adebayo's $60 million salary, saying, quote, "You should get paid $60 million to be a top tier defender on some nights." ? I guess asking that. I don't know. He said he also claimed opposing teams feared him more in the playoffs, saying, quote, if I'm healthy, I'm the one who needs help. Who do Cleveland prioritize taking away in the playoffs? End quote. Interesting. I love that that's on DMs also.
Yeah, seriously, just text them.
Strange. Very strange deal. But
very strange deal.
Problems on the home front. Speaking of the home front, Hero goes to Milwaukee, his hometown, chose to not play for Wisconsin or Marquette. Went to Kentucky, so now it's you get to go back home.
Yeah.
Also, case of the Mondays for Timofey Mozgov. You remember he got a nice check from the Lakers back when they were really in the dumps of despair. But he was on the 2016 Cavs team that had a reunion about a month ago with LeBron and, let's see, we had Tristan
Richard Jefferson.
Thompson, Richard Jefferson.
Dellavedova was on there.
Oh, that was adorable. J.R. Smith.
J.R. Smith was there.
Yes.
No Kyrie.
Kyrie wasn't there, and that was the whole big story. Mozgov went to socials. I want to get this right, actually, because he obviously was not a great player. But, dude, his feelings were hurt. He said, if I can find this correct one. All right, it's not coming up.
Mozgov.
But he was upset. He said, I would have loved to be there. And realistically...
he said, I saw the video of that party. No one wrote or called me.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a case of the Mondays.
Oh, man, that's really sad. I like Timothy Mozgov.
We all know it was a situation where LeBron was just hanging out with his boys. And, and Dellavedova, he's in that category, but Mozgov is not. So, bummer for him.
He scored 28 points in Game 4. He was their second leading scorer in 2015 when they didn't win.
They didn't win.
Yeah, they didn't
won
win
in 2016.
Yeah, 2016. Yeah, okay. So he scored 28 points in Game 4 of 2015. So not in 16, but... Yeah, ouch.
I mean,
man.
He got a nice paycheck, like I said.
Yeah. Also, it says that he was the first Russian-born NBA champion. There's actually 2 Russian-born NBA champions on that roster.
Yes.
Also, Sasha Khan.
Yep. 6.8 points in the career of Timofey Mozgov. In the 2016 season where Cleveland won, Mozgov did 6.3 points per game. So, I mean, and a bench
that's
guy.
A bummer. I mean,
is what it is.
I don't know.
Everybody wants to be invited to the party. I get it.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, a couple more here.
It's Case the Mondays for the New York Baseball Mets. They're bad. But here's the thing. This is a developing story on Friday that we didn't get to. Apparently, the Boston Red Sox were playing a series in Chicago, and then they had to turn around and fly out to New York to play in a 3-game series, I believe, against the New York Mets. But on Friday... the Boston Red Sox plane had an issue, and they were stranded on the runway for a long, long time. They were supposed to get there the night before, wound up not doing that. Their equipment didn't get to Citi Field until 5:25 p.m.
Brutal.
The game was at 7 o'clock. And the Red Sox
found a way.
They beat the Mets.
Somehow that happens in sports, right?
So their plane landed at LaGuardia at 4:15. Which was less than 3 hours before the game. So they were sitting on this plane forever. I don't know if they deboarded or whatever, but they essentially, sat on this tarmac in this airport for like many, many, many hours waiting for this plane to be fixed. Finally got on the plane, finally landed at LaGuardia less than 3 hours before the game, got to Citi Field. Their equipment got there at 5:25, and they go out there and they still beat the Mets.
I love it.
The Red Sox are on kind of a heater right now.
Baseball is they are. They've won 9 straight. The Red Sox are now 46-48. They were terrible before this last road trip where they came out of nowhere. So, that's how you want to be going into a break, I guess. On the flip side, the A's have lost 9 straight. So that's kind of the ups and downs right now of Major League Baseball as we are now in the All-Star break. The Royals are tied for the worst record in Major League Baseball, 38-59. They are minus 88. Run differential. The Rockies are worse at minus 89, but 21 games under 500. It's a disaster in Kansas City. Speaking of Kansas City.
Yeah, Cup check.
Yep.
Case of Mondays for Kansas City because there's no longer going to be World Cup games here in the city of fountains.
What a performance, though, by the fans of Kansas City and Lawrence in the World Cup. World Cup, we haven't mentioned yet, man, but it's going to be a monster. France and Spain, that's tomorrow at 2. And then you've got Argentina and England.
It's coming home.
I thought Norway was going to get it done. But Argentina and England, the winner of that will take on the winner of France and Spain in the World Cup final. But, yeah, the France-Spain game is tomorrow. Argentina-England is Wednesday.
Should we start rooting for Argentina because they're still based in Kansas City?
We could.
Okay.
We could. But
so is England.
I'm cheering for Spain.
England's also based in Kansas City.
Yeah. I know that's they should really come back and give Arrowhead one more shot.
You'd think,
they should.
right?
No, they're not going to. No, they're
really
not going to. It's got to be the big cities, and the final
I say it's
will
coming
be
home.
in
Jude Bellingham's good, man.
East Rutherford. After this, some home run derby picks and Kansas football opponent outlook as we look at Central Florida. That's next. ESPN Kansas City, KansasNation.com.
What's up, everybody? Dan Peterson. Everybody go check out KansasNation.com. Pool, spa, and patio sale at Family Leisure. Pool starting at $19.99. Buy now, swim this summer. Spa starting at $34.99. Swim spa starting at $16,999. 0% interest until 2030 on select items. Adirondack chairs only $199. 5-piece dining set only $8.99. Wicker dining sectional now only $19.99. Make memories this summer. Pool, spa, and patio sale going on now at Family Leisure.
Get 0.9% APR or a $3,500 customer bonus on 2026 Atlas models. 2026 Atlas Cross Sport 3.9% APR or $3,500 customer bonus. 26 Tiguan models now 1.9% APR or a $2,500 customer bonus.
At the heart of a city lies the restless, the visionaries, the bold. From redefining events to guiding local youth, providing lifelines of industry, or reshaping wellness across the region, you deserve a financial partner that matches your ambition. At Meritrust, we handle the finances, so you can take care of the bold. Meritrust Credit Union. Business, banking, bold.
This is SSJ. Winter in Kansas City doesn't mean your lawn takes a break. It means smart homeowners get a head start. Let David and his crew from Custom Lawn and Landscape prepare your yard for a greener, healthier spring with winter fertilization, soil conditioning, and pre-emergent treatments that stop weeds before they start. Because when the snow melts, you don't want to start fixing your lawn, you want to already be winning. Trust Custom Lawn and Landscape, treating your yard now so it looks incredible later. Visit CustomLawn.com to schedule your winter services today.
Central Bank, partners of us here at Kansas Nation. They've got Jayhawk checking, allowing Jayhawk fans to carry their pride wherever they go with the official Jayhawk debit card. Central Bank is proud to support the traditions and communities that bring people together. As the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, Central Bank is committed to serving Jayhawk fans with banking options designed for real life, on campus, at work, and everywhere in between. You can learn more about Jayhawk Checking and the exclusive debit card at jayhawkchecking.com. Jayhawkchecking.com, Central Bank, the proud community banking partner of the University of Kansas, member FDIC. KU football opponent outlook before we give some derby picks. Jayhawks against UCF. This is a game that a lot of people will point to as a must-be win for the Jayhawks, as UCF not a perennial powerhouse by any stretch. Last year, the teams faced off. Kansas won in Orlando 27-20. KU was up 20. Kansas was up, I should say, at the break. They were down. They were down 20. I was struggling because the third quarter, Kansas outscored UCF 13-0. But UCF was up at halftime 20-14. KU would go up at the end of the third quarter 27-20. And then the teams were scoreless in the fourth quarter. Really weird game because UCF had a lot of question marks at quarterback. You had three potential guys that you were going to see. Taven Jackson and Cam Fancher were the two quarterbacks that Kansas saw, and the latter almost led UCF to a victory. This was the one close, one-possession game, honestly, of the past couple years, and maybe there's one that I'm missing, but Kansas has lost so many of these one-possession games the past few years. This was one that they were maybe this is rude to say, but inexplicably able to win down the stretch just because you were used to KU losing games at the end. But it was a huge win for Kansas because it brought them to 4-2, 2-1 in Big 12 play. Of course, KU would end up getting just one more win the rest of the way. But a nice win in Orlando. Jayhawks got 3 touchdowns on the ground from Leshaun Williams. And seems like despite the fact that you don't play every team every year in football and basketball, you're going to play UCF. KU always plays UCF. This time it's going to be in early November 7th at home. Dan, like I said, one that you're going to point to this one and say, you got to win that.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. And with UCF, essentially reloading at every single aspect. They're bringing back Scott Frost. Gus Malzahn is no longer going to be the coach over there. They lost Taven Jackson. They lost Cam Fancher. They lost Miles Montgomery. They lost Jaden Nixon. I mean, they lost so many guys, on their offense and on their defense as well. I mean, it's just going to be a whole new reloaded team essentially for this UCF. Now they are bringing over a transfer quarterback in Alonzo Barnett III. Really nice quarterback from JMU over this past season. Had a well, he had 58.4% completion percentage, but he had 2,806 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. I mean, really impressive stuff by him as well. Nice rusher, too. He had 589 rushing yards last year, 15 rushing touchdowns for Alonzo Barnett III. So, again, going to be a nice dual-threat quarterback. We'll see how Scott Frost does. I know if you ask any Nebraska fans, they're going to be like, oh, he's terrible. But, again, Scott Frost won them a national championship back in 2017, if you remember. As we all know, they beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl. That was a lot of fun. It's up in their stadium and everything. So do you claim that? Do you think that they should claim that?
No.
Okay.
They did go undefeated, though. 13-0.
They went undefeated. Nobody gave them a look at the CFP. They went out and they absolutely killed Auburn in the Peach Bowl. So that was a lot of fun to see. But so he's going to be the head of the snake, obviously, Alonzo Barnett. We'll see how he plays at the next level. He was really, really good at JMU. But again, they lost virtually all of their rushing attack. I mean, he's going to be essentially their number one guy. They are bringing back Dwayne Thomas Jr., who was their leading receiver from last year. 53 receptions, 528 yards, 0 touchdowns, surprisingly, but again, led them in both receptions and in receiving yards. Lost, again, just a ton of guys in terms of all of their, position, or I guess skill position groups, right? They're bringing over a guy from Louisiana Monroe, Jonathan Bibbs, really nice outside receiver. Again, Dwayne Thomas, a really good one as well. Waden Charles, he's going to be back after finishing third on the team. He had 26 catches from last year, 290 yards, but they are losing Dylan Wade, who was their leader in terms of receiving touchdowns. He was a tight end, had 5 receiving touchdowns, 523 yards at that tight end position. So it'd be interesting to see, again, I mean, it's just so hard to determine kind of what is going to happen for this UCF program just because there has been so much turnover. They do have Lewis Carter. He, transferred over from Oklahoma. Really nice linebacker on the defensive side of the ball. But, we'll certainly see because this is going to be a brand new look style of UCF. And we'll see if the second time around for Scott Frost is going to prove to be okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. And again, who knows in today's day and age of the transfer portal, UCF, we look at it as a must-win for Kansas because it's not a top-tier Big 12 program, we think, and it's a home game for KU. UCF could go 10-2 this year. Who knows?
Right.
It's one of those situations where, in all likelihood, with all the moving parts, it's going to be a lot of one-possession games in the Big 12. But, yeah, on paper, Kansas needs to beat UCF at home. You need to beat Baylor at home, like we talked about at one point last week. And then, you got to beat your non-con teams. You got to find a way to split at least against Missouri and Arizona State and steal 1 or 2 along the way. It's doable for this Kansas team, but there's a lot of questions to be answered, as it should be here in the offseason. KU and UCF to kick things off in November on the 7th. And then Kansas will actually close out November with tough matchups at WVU on the 14th, BYU at home on the 21st, and then at Oklahoma State on the 28th. Again, Oklahoma State, they were no good last year. People are just assuming they're going to be better this year. That probably is the case. They got a really good quarterback in Drew Mestemaker, but
a lot of transfers coming in though. They're going to have to mesh. Yeah. But again, I mean, Springer brought it up today. You get them late in the season, that gives them plenty of time to mesh.
We'll preview them a little bit later this week. Home Run Derby tonight, 7 o'clock on Netflix. Dan, quick look at the odds. Kyle Schwarber, the shortest odds. I almost said shortest odds. Plus 285. Junior Camaro's plus 360. Munetaka Murakami is plus 600. Jordan Walker plus 700. Jack Caglione plus 800. Bryce Harper plus 900, Ben Rice plus 900, and Wilson Contreras plus 1,500. That is as it is right now on DraftKings. Who is your winner, and who do you think is a long shot? Also, who hits the longest homer tonight?
You're not going to like this because I should say Jack Caglione, classic, the Dan Corey Classic. Kansas wins, Kansas covers. I think Bryce Harper wins it all. I think Bryce Harper, I mean, it's in Philly.
Two Phillies are taking place.
I know.
In Philly.
That's what I'm saying. It's in Philly. Bryce Harper's going to bask in this moment. It's going to be his last kind of, go at it, at least in the home run derby. So I think Bryce Harper shocks the world and proves to everybody that he's still relevant.
All right. Bryce Harper, he did it back in 2018, plus 900. Dang, that's long enough odds that he can be your...
Plus 900.
Yeah, he can be your dark horse as well. Who hits the longest bomb?
Longest bomb, I think it's going to be Cags.
I love it. Cags, he's got a 466 on his mark. In terms of winning tonight, man, This is lame, but give me Kyle Schwarber. He's at home in Philly. The dude is a walking bomb. Kyle Schwarber plus 285. But I don't know. Keep an eye on Jordan Walker. He's got great power at plus 700. That's going to do it for Rock Chalk Sports today. Big thanks to Elijah Schmidt and Tyler Brewer behind the cameras today. For Dan Courtwright, Sean Kellerman saying we'll catch you tomorrow from 4 to 6 for Rock Chalk Sports. ESPN Kansas City, kansasnation.com.
I'm Keith Langford, and you're watching kansasnation.com.
Together, we're elevating our potential, our pride, our traditions, and our dreams. Together, we're opening up a whole new world of possibilities. Elevate your University of Kansas experience with Jayhawk checking from Central Bank. Central Bank and KU, elevating together.
Hi there, Gary Joslin with Joslin's Jewelry. I'm not the class ring company. I'm a mom and pop jewelry store for 42 years. We were recently voted the gold medal #1 jewelry store in the greater Kansas City area by Ingram's Magazine. Come see us at Joslin's Jewelry, 9529 Antioch. Joslin's Jewelry, the jeweler you'll recommend to your friends and family.
Joslin's Jewelry for the best that's yet to come.
KU and K-State bring their bitter basketball rivalry to the basketball tournament in Topeka this summer. Kansas alumni team Jayhawks Hoops, led by Frank Mason III and Marcus Garrett, take on K-State alumni team Purple Rain, starring Michael Beasley and Xavier Sneed. Catch the action at Lee Arena in Topeka, July 22nd, as the Big 12 foes duke it out on the road to TBT's $2 million grand prize. Don't miss the chance to check out and support your favorite former Jayhawks in just a few weeks. Get your tickets now at tbthoops.com.